another video. Okay, I'm sorry. Hello everybody. Welcome back to another video. I know I haven't made the next chapter in My Teacher is an Alien, but here I am, okay? It was Christmas and all that, and just be glad that it's coming out now. Chapter, 9 of My Teacher Fried My Brains. It's called How to Fry Your Brains. So, if you don't remember what happened the last time in chapter 8, it said, besides, what gave me the clue was something so big, so tremendously exciting, that I knew it might be the most important discovery in the history of the planet. Given the way everyone was treating me, I decided it was going to stay my secret. Anyways, so, also, if you hear a lot of banging, we're getting a new roof shingles, like new roofing, or whatever you want to call it. And they're like hammering it in right now. So, that's what that is. Anyways, chapter 9, How to Fry Your Brains. My discovery happened during math class. Mr. Black was explaining something about changing fractions into decimals, which was about the same thing as explaining how to make snoods into farfolds as far as I was concerned, when suddenly I started to understand what he was talking about. Now, that may not seem like much to you, but it was the first time it had ever happened to me. I never got anything in math the first time around. Of course, I didn't usually listen real hard, but that was mostly because there didn't seem to be much point into listening, since I knew I wasn't going to get it anyway. That day was different. As I listened to Mr. Black, all the things I was supposed to have been learning about math over the last 8 years suddenly began to fit together. I was amazed. This stuff actually made sense. It connected. It was almost beautiful in a weird sort of way. My brain was tingling. And then, the next amazing thing happened. Mr. Black asked a question, and I knew the answer. I thought about raising my hand, but that seemed too weird. Besides, if I answered the question, I knew people would just figure I was cheating somehow, and I had already had enough attention for one day. It didn't take me too long to guess what was happening. Even a moron could have figured it out, and I was no moron, at least not anymore. It was simple. Andromeda Jones was the alien, and that machine she had used on me the day before was some sort of alien brain fryer, a brain fryer that made you smarter. And if it could make me smarter once, maybe another dose would make me even smarter. Wouldn't that be cool? Forget Duncan Dougal Boy Hero. I was going to be Duncan Dougal Boy Genius. I couldn't wait for the day to end. I had my plans already made. All I had to do was hang on and not bop anyone before the final bell rang. It wasn't easy, since I was still getting a lot of flack about the article in the Sun. But I didn't care anymore. I was going to be better than those jerks, better than all of the clods who had laughed at me all these years. When the last bell rang, I headed for the boys' room. I slipped into one of the toilets and stood on the seat so no one would see me if they looked underneath the door. Normally, it wouldn't be a problem to stay after school. Lots of kids stay after for different activities, but since I was known as a troublemaker, the school didn't want me around. If anyone spotted me, I would be sent home. While I was standing there waiting, I found myself wishing that I had brought a book to read. The very thought made me blink. Why in heaven's name would I want a book? The answer was simple. My brain was hungry. The being smart thing was going to take some getting used to. After about an hour, I left the restroom. By that time, most of the teachers had gone home, so I knew the halls would be left a little safer. Besides, I was worried that one of the janitors would be coming in to clean the toilets before long. How soon did I dare go use the brain fryer? Not soon. The more I thought about it, the more I knew I didn't want to be interrupted. I didn't want any of the teachers or kids to catch me at this. It was going to stay my secret. And I sure didn't want the alien to catch me. Of course, the question I should have been asking myself was, why had she used it on me in the first place? I had probably gotten smart enough to think of that question, but I was too excited about the potential of all this to really worry about that idea. I didn't want anything to stop me, not even the possibility that this was a trap of some kind. It was the bait. Oh, if it was, the bait was worth it. I was tired of feeling stupid. I began sneaking down the hall and toward the science lab. I figured I might as well hide in there, even if I was going to wait until later to use the brain fryer. After about 3 steps, I decided to take off my sneakers, which aren't all that great for sneaking no matter what you call them. They're not bad, but they can give you a surprise squeak if you're not careful. Socks, even filthy ones, are quieter. I heard a noise and scurried into a classroom. Lying on the floor, I watched as a whistling janitor pushed a broom down the hall. I tried to time him in my head and see how long it would take before he came back. I counted 180 elephants, about 3 minutes. I decided to wait right where I was, which was probably as safe as anywhere. Then I realized that I was across the hallway from the library. That would be more interesting. I waited for the janitor to go past again, then scurried across the hall and through the library door. That was the first time I had been in the library this year. It might have been the first time in my life I had gone into the library without being forced. I found a book about that looked interesting, something about cars, and crawled under the table in the corner. I had enough light, but just barely. It didn't make that much difference. Even though I really wanted to read the book, I couldn't. I just couldn't figure out what the words said. I had to get another zap of the brain fryer. I tried to read for a little while longer. My eyes got heavy. My head sagged forward. Soon I was asleep. When I woke, the building was pitch dark. I crawled out from under the table and listened. Silence. Well, near silence. My stomach started to grumble, which wasn't surprising since I hadn't had anything to eat since lunchtime. Trying to ignore my stomach's pleas for food, I stepped out into the hallway. It was kind of spooky being in the school all by myself. Kind of fun, too. Normally, I might have decided that this was the time for a little mischief. Now I only had one thing on my mind, getting smarter. Wow, getting smarter in school. That was the first time that idea ever occurred to me. I tiptoed down the dark hall into the science room. I paused at the door. The room was pitch dark. What if the alien was inside? For all I knew, she slept here. Maybe she folded herself up and spent the night on the shelf. Who could tell with an alien? My stomach rumbled again. I wondered if Miss Jones had anything to eat in that lab refrigerator. I figured if I was going to get smart, there was no point in doing it on an empty stomach. I found my way to the lab refrigerator and pulled open the door. The little light inside seemed terribly bright after all the darkness. At first glance, it wasn't very encouraging. Most of the bottles had either little dead animals or small green plants. None of them looked like they were meat for human stomachs. Or meant for human stomachs. But at the back of the fridge, I found a square Tupperware container that looked promising. I pulled it out, hoping there would be something inside that might make my stomach stop complaining. I pulled off the lid. Then I started to scream. That's the end of chapter 9. Chapter 10, I honestly don't know when it would be coming out, but if you want to get notified when it does, hit the subscribe button, and next to it a little bell will pop up, and that will notify you when I post my next video. So yeah, see you then.